Now hold on. Joe shook his head. You're not allowed. You both have bigger responsibilities. You to Jessica and Cora, and Matt to Petty. Matt said, I don't like the idea of you all fighting our battles for us. Zach said, It's not like that at all. It's just that you and Johnny have more important things to take care of. Johnny looked at Jessica. She hadn't liked the idea of him riding down to Mexico. Breaking a man out of a prison was no easy thing, and it was likely any who weren't killed in the process would have a price on his head. If Johnny didn't get himself killed trying to break Sam out of prison, he would have to be on the run. Either way, he wouldn't be here with Jessica and Cora. She understood he felt obliged to go, but she was mighty glad Zach and Joe and Dusty were taking the stance they were. The look in her eyes and the arch of her brows conveyed all of this. Such was the magic of a woman, Johnny thought. He reached out and took her hand. She knew he had lost this battle, but she allowed a grateful smile. Johnny said, You should at least all come to the valley first. I know Jenny would like to see you both before you light out again. He directed this at Dusty and Zach. And at Joe he said, And she hadn't seen you in a coon's age. Dusty said, If we do that, then Josh will want to ride with us. He can't. Jack will probably want to come too. They're good men, but they're not outlaws. For what we have ahead of us, you need an outlaw. Johnny looked long at his son. Johnny knew he was right. Tom had come strolling up too, the preacher with a gun at his side. Letty was back at the wagon with Mercy. Tom said to the men on horseback, Be safe. Do what you have to do and return to us. Matt said to the men, Do you have any plan in mind? Joe said, None at all. We don't even know where he's being held. Zach said, Time to ride. We'll be back when we can. If they can, Johnny thought. Of all of the adventures he had been involved in throughout his life, nothing was as big as breaking a man out of a Mexican prison. He knew there was a good chance he would never see any of them again. Johnny extended his hand up to Dusty, who reached down to take it. Johnny said, You do me proud. I only wish I'd known of you sooner. Dusty looked like he was about to say something. Maybe offer some sort of light-hearted thing like, Oh, you'll see me again. We'll be back before you know it. But he knew his father fully understood the immensity of the job ahead of him, and so he said nothing. Johnny in turn shook hands with each of them. To Joe he said, You've been gone so long. It's been great riding with you again these past few months. Joe nodded, shaking Johnny's hand but saying nothing. A man of few words. He always had been. Zach said, You take care of my spread while I'm gone. Check in on Ramon once in a while, see if he needs anything. Johnny nodded. You know I will. There was a round of handshaking with Matt and Tom, and then Zach said, Let's ride. They started out cutting directly south. Johnny and Jessica stood watching them plow a path through the tall grass along the slope. She slipped her hand back into his. At the base of the slope, the riders began following a low area between two grassy rises, and then were gone from sight. Jessica said, Sam Middleton was right. You men are the stuff of legends. Johnny snorted a chuckle. I don't know about that. We're just men who see something that has to be done, and we're blessed enough to have the ability to do it. Blessed or cursed, I'm not sure which sometimes. Jessica gave his hand a squeeze. Tom stood silently a few moments, his eyes shut. When he opened his eyes, Johnny said, Offering a prayer. Tom shrugged. For all the good it'll do. One thing I've learned the hard way this past year, God doesn't always listen. The broken preacher, Johnny thought. Johnny said, God always listens. Let's hope you're right. Tom turned and headed back to the wagon where Letty and Mercy waited for him. Johnny said to anyone within listening range,